Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. I have two very special guests that we are going to talk about the potential for 315. I think it's still in Wave 1, it still has its issues, and I think we're probably not going to touch on that too much. But I think 315 has the potential to be probably the best patch that we've ever had. I've had so much more fun in this patch than I've had in any other patch already, to the point where I don't want to play it in the PTU because I don't want to ruin it for myself. That's where I stand. I brought on Seggellion and Dtox because I feel like they have this really unique perspective for what they engage, how they engage with Star Citizen. Dtox does a lot of org combat and org organization type stuff where it does require a lot of, I guess, logistics. So all these items and things and all these changes really should affect that. And then Seggellion does a lot of cargo hauling. So there's a lot of things that are coming online with 315 for that sort of. I think we're going to see more stuff in the future, but I'm really curious to see how he's seen the recent fixes to cargo and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's bring on these guys. Dtox, Seggellion, how you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well. I
Hey,
know it's a bit
Hello,
early
hello.
for you, Seggellion. He lives on the West Coast,
that's okay.
so I appreciate you coming on. We've both kind of suffered for each other. So I've been on your podcast before, and I was up
That's
really late
true.
for myself because I go to bed very early. I go to bed at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and now I'm waking you up a little
Holy.
early to be on here. So yeah, how you guys doing? We'll start out with Dtox. How's everything?
Yeah, doing good, thanks, man. Not too bad. I actually went out into the world on Friday night. I didn't stream. I normally stream on Fridays, but it's my cousin's 30th birthday, and we went
Nice,
out to a club, bruh, a bars and
Whoa.
a club, which
nice.
I haven't done in like year and a half, 2 years anyway. So that was kind of weird being out and amongst the normies again. But it was good. But a lot like you lose the whole next day when you do that now. Like when you're in your prime at our age, right? You go out and then the next day you lose the entire day, and it's just like not worth it. There's no productivity the next day. You're just like recovering. So that was like my weekend, and then yeah, today I've just been kind of making sure I'm actually able to come on here and talk.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Other than that, doing okay. Enjoying 315 PTU. It's good. Obviously got its problems,
Sure.
but yeah.
But
Hope you're
just in
doing well.
case, I'm sure most people do. But if they don't know who you are, like what do you do normally in Star Citizen? Do you Twitch stream? Do you have a YouTube channel? Those kind of things.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch live, and then I usually do stuff on YouTube as well. That usually comes from my live stream content that I usually do on my live stream. I'll edit down and usually put it into YouTube as well. But it's not really highlights. It's usually like if we do like a big org centric thing or something unique, outside the norm happens, I'll put it on YouTube. But I also do like off stream stuff with my org every now and then as well that goes up there. For example, we did a 50-player fleet battle against UE Pathfinders recently, who are really well put together, um, very hardcore mil sim organization. Played against them, had one of the most awesome experiences, sort of battles I've had in Star Citizen yet. Obviously, it's pre-organized. It wasn't like organic or anything, which that's the next step, which we all want that
Waiting for?
awesome
Yeah.
organic experience, right? Yeah, but we're just not there yet. So in order to get that kind of experience, you have to go out the way and put in a little bit of effort. Usually involves a lot of coordination between myself and the other org and their leader and my leaders, and we put together like an op, and then we'll battle it out. And yeah, my org mates, usually they'll say it's some of the most fun they have in this game. So I try to do that sort of stuff, but I don't know. We haven't been doing it as much regularly. I'll be honest. We haven't been doing it as much regularly because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears to put these sort of things together.
Yeah.
And with the regularity of new patches now, it actually makes it harder almost because with every new patch, something new is introduced, and that actually can create problems for creating events. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I usually get up to. But I obviously just play the game as well as much as I can.
Sure.
Play the game as much as you can, which is obviously it's not easy sometimes. But yeah, man, it's generally what we get up to.
Yeah, and I'll add a little bit to that. I don't watch much Star Citizen content on YouTube or Twitch. So when I get an opportunity to, and when you do post a video, I watch it instantly. I think Dtox, like the videos that he makes, I think he's kind of downplaying himself a little bit here. They're really well produced. They're really well put together, and they're kind of telling the story of the operation that he did with those other companies when he makes those types of videos, and it's uh, really fun to watch. So if you guys are watching on Twitch, there are links in like popping up in chat occasionally, and you could type guests in chat to get their links. But if you're watching on YouTube later, those links will be in the description so you guys can check out their content. But Seggellion, now to you. I guess we'll start out with the same thing with Dtox. If people don't know you, what do you do for as far as like content creation goes? And before actually you get started, the reason I brought on content creators, I think for 315, normally we would do an answer the call where we would just hear from anybody out there, but it's still wave one. So I thought talking with content creators who definitely have wave one access and are experiencing it, I thought it made a lot more sense. And I thought from these two perspectives, I was really excited to hear because they're perspectives I don't have for sure. So continue on. I'm sorry, Seggellion, but what kind of content do you make? Where can people find you? That kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. So I guess I'm a Twitch person. Um, I'm I'm actually next this week I'm going to be celebrating my 4th year as a Star Citizen streamer.
Nice.
So I'm going to do something for that. I stream Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday is Ultima Online Day. Always,
Hell yeah.
it's been that way for about a year now, so that's cool. Outside of that, it's just Star Citizen. So that's where people can find me.
Okay.
I also do like other stuff like Daymar Rally and I don't know, whatever other type of community content I can get up to. I went to the ship meetup. You know those ship meetups people
Mhm.
do? I went to one of those on Saturday. That was
How
pretty
was it?
cool. You know. It was not it was hard, I guess. You know, I just had this picture. I just imagine the Daymar Rally. The hardest part, well, one of the hardest parts of the Daymar Rally is just getting everybody into their server together. So
Yeah.
we got that. We
Yeah.
got 50 people. We're like, sweet, we're launching. Everything's gonna be gravy now. And like, oh man, we got everything but a 30K. So I guess that's good. But like, I mean, people are crashing their ships. I blew up a dude's 325. I was in a Starfarer. There was the stupid storm. It was chaos. It was complete chaos. But I mean, hopefully they got the pictures and the video for Reddit. If you guys see the ship meetups on Reddit later, or it's already posted, that was a shitstorm, man. But hey, if anybody's interested in ever trying that one day, I recommend it. It's an experience.
Sure. All right. Well, let's jump
Yeah.
into 315. So, assuming
it.
most of you guys have played it, or you two guys have played it, sorry. The what were your initial thoughts, and what did you jump? What was the first thing you jumped into? We'll start with Dtox.
I mean, it stole the show from CitizenCon, like for a start. Like it was,
I forgot about
it's
it.
the
I forgot about Citizen.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Pretty much, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's way juicier than I don't want to start that discussion, but the 315 is actually a juicier thing, more juicy than CitizenCon itself, really,
Oh yeah.
this year. There's a lot going for it, There's the medical gameplay is a huge addition, and it's actually in not a terrible state, which is impressive. And same with the looting, really, it's not in a terrible state either. It's got some problems. Obviously, it's going to have problems, but it's not terrible. At least I've had a pretty good experience with it. I don't know. I know you've been you've been having a rough time
I have
today,
one
Mike.
gripe.
But,
I have one gripe, okay? And I've said it since the second they showed it. The third person camera is the most idiotic thing you can possibly do. That was the dumbest thing of all time. If you're standing next to a wall, all you see is the wall.
Oh.
If an NPC walks in front of you, you see the NPC. I think it's idiotic from just like a intense FPS moment standpoint. That was my initial thoughts, but now actually seeing it in implementation, it's even worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the
true.
general clunkiness is, I think, is like a given first implementation, that kind of stuff. But just the thought process of a third-person camera was just not good for me.
It's fidelity, right? Every chance they get to show off the engine and show off the fidelity of the game, they will jump on that. So you know, if they can show off your character model looking, pristine and high fidelity, they will. But doesn't New World do something like that? When you open up your inventory, like it focuses on your player,
It turns your
but
player
it's
turns
it's
around. Yeah, I think your player turns
yeah,
around, but the focus is still where you were looking. So when you come out of the menu, you're back in the game. You were never
yeah,
technically
yeah,
out
yeah,
of the game. That was my initial
yeah.
thought process, that I didn't like it when I saw it on ISC.
It's the same old problem with the camera in this game. It's physicalized. It bumps into things. It's
Yep.
it's problematic overall. I mean, I don't know if you saw my clip where I fell down a mountain
Yep.
last week, but the camera's like, it's inside the mountain, then it's outside the mountain, then it's hitting a rock alongside your character.
Yeah.
It's a giant disorienting mess with the camera sometimes.
Yep.
So it's
So
just
when
back
you
to that, like they're
so
just
when you see
generally.
third-person camera improvements on the roadmap, don't get upset. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, when we see more
Um,
stuff like that.
but yeah, man, I mean, I have just been excited about being able to go around and find rare stuff, but I haven't really found any rare stuff, and I feel like I'm being trolled at this point about this alien rocket launcher and
What? I
this
didn't know about
crossbow
this.
that people are talking about. Really?
Wait, they're in? I
It's
don't pay.
supposed.
Okay, I ignore Reddit everything when it comes to this stuff. So there's
Yeah, yeah.
there's I apparently found a rare sniper, is what somebody told me, but I don't think it was
Yeah.
rare because I keep finding it. So
Well, it's cool because some people in chat are telling me that I found some rare scopes and some rare sights because you can't buy them anywhere in the game in any of the
Okay.
shops. So that's cool. But I have no idea about that. I suggested that we get some sort of rarity indicator on items, um, to gamify it a little bit more. But some people are like, well, no, because you should know what's rare and what isn't rare as part of playing the game and being like a regular player. You should know what's rare and what isn't. But
yeah,
I mean, I like gamified things in this damn game. Like if they had gamified stuff, it makes me feel more like I'm playing a video game. So I don't mind. I wouldn't mind that. Like rarity indicators. I don't know. They could do anything. They could do the standard classic MMO thing with colors, green to purple, legendary and things, or maybe some sort of number that gives you like a rarity level or indicator. I don't know. Just an idea. Just an idea.
yeah.
But yeah, I've been just going around looking for rare loot, and I haven't really found anything crazy yet. And I think I haven't found this alien rocket launcher that I'm hearing about. So
Neither have
I think
I.
I'm being trolled at this point.
Yeah. I found a grenade launcher. One thing I haven't found in any loot containers is medical stuff. Have you guys found any
Really?
medical stuff?
Oh. Yeah. I found some medical stuff.
Actually, I think I found one of the green goo for the guns, the medical gun. So maybe I just haven't been very lucky.
Yeah.
But all right, Seggellion, what have you jumped into? What was the first thing that you dived into in 3.15 and really went like, that's what I want to see?
My big question for 3.15 was like strategizing, trying to pave my way and find like a meta path. I hate to admit that, but like you ask me, and this is the honest answer, it's like
Sure.
my first big question is like, where am I going to spawn? What are the advantages to
Yeah.
spawning? You
Yep.
know, how am I
Sure.
going to plan my gameplay now for the next 3 or 4 months, or I guess the future? Where am I going to live? So like that was the big hurdle for me.
Yeah.
Well, some people
I chose-
listening might not even know what you're talking about here. So
Yeah.
there's some places that have hospitals. There's some places that don't. There's some places that take really long to leave, right? So where did you choose and why?
I chose Crusader, and
Okay,
I think I might
interesting.
choose Crusader still. I don't know. The thing about Crusader is all of my clothes are available there, and like it's such a pain in the ass for me to fly around the verse
Yep.
to get all of the white outfits because it's so important in my gameplay to have a white outfit. So I
Me
have
too.
to spawn
Yeah.
at Crusader to get my outfits. And like I don't think it's a big deal to move all of my ships to Lorville. Like I really only need the C2s over at Lorville. So
Yeah.
and I mean, you have all the ship components at Crusader too. And I don't
Yep.
use any guns and armor, so I don't really need to include any of that stuff.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah.
Are you worried?
Pacifist.
Are you worried at all about people boarding and stuff now and having to defend yourself?
Not yet.
Yeah.
If that happens, I mean, okay, I'm nowhere near that yet. Like, um, even in 3.14, there wasn't any of that. It hasn't happened since like 3.9, I think, when piracy was big, and then they got rid of Laranite. I can't remember when that was. It was a while ago, but if that happens again, that would be super cool. I just can't imagine that happening because like we don't have the whole shipboarding thing. There's no physicalized cargo yet. There's really no advantage for pirates except for to like just give people a hard time, which is fine. Hopefully the economy supports that. I saw a bit of that in the end of 3.14 when they added that patch, that hot fix.
Yeah.
There was a couple of pirates that started coming around again, so
Yep.
that was nice. It was like one of those like whenever you see reforestation happen in the real world and animals start coming back. That's what I was thinking. It's like oh, the pirates are coming back. That's so nice.
Yeah. I think
They do
Anyways.
move in herds.
that
Yeah,
was
they move in
probably-
herds.
that was probably one of the most exciting things for I think a lot of the players who actively play the game because cargo hauling was such a huge part of the game for so long. It was like one of the only things you can do to make money.
That's
and then
true. Yeah.
and then it was kind of in a weird way just like taken from everybody and it
Yep.
just magically came back at the end of 3.14 and then all this other stuff with the inventories inside your ships in 3.15. So yeah, it could get really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dtox.
I mean, you can.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I mean there is some loot now, right? Your player loot box drops when your ship blows up. Like I think the people in the players inside the ship drop their loot box. So there's that potential for pirates to come in and blow up ships and steal the players' inventory and maybe even the ship inventory. I hope so.
That'd be
like
cool.
because what I've been doing is like storing stuff in the 400i, flying around to all the different locations. Like the main thing I've been doing so far in 3.15 is just going everywhere I can think of where there might be some rare loot and just looting all the boxes and bringing it back into the ship and storing it in the ship's cargo hold and the ship's vehicle inventory. But I haven't actually blown up yet in 3.15. So I've heard that when the ships blow up, they drop little player loot boxes like the player ones. So that means people could potentially loot that kind of stuff and bring it onto their ship. And if trading's working, it means there are traders making money, which means they have potentially have cargo to lose and time to lose. So pirates can come and lock them down and try and extort them. So, I mean, even though we can't physically go out and steal the traders' cargo on their ships, you can still extort them and you know, even though most of the time they'll just choose to self-destruct anyway and blow up their ship and their cargo. Hopefully with 3.15, with medical gameplay, with player loot, with cargo working and actual a little bit some things to lose, maybe we're going to start seeing some actual piracy return as well, and see some of these trade lanes being sort of interdicted by, you know, pirates.
Yeah.
You know, people like the Mongrel Squad and Cutlet using quantum interdiction to slow them down and then EMP them into submission. I don't know. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping with trade being decent again.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so too. I was gonna ask you, where's all of your armor located, Dtox? Where do you have to go to pick it up? Is it Hurston?
I went to Lawville. I set my home location to Lawville,
Okay.
and then I get out as quickly as I can to Everest, and then just work out of there for the most part. But yeah, I mean, when it goes live, I'll be more concerned about getting my armor, like Seggellion. I like to have my org armor and stuff. I like to make sure I got all my stuff together, and yeah, I'll try and one of my goals is going to be to spread all my most required items across the verse so that I always have easy access to them. And there's been some discussion in my org that like maybe we'll have some sort of main bank ships that kind of hold loads of stuff for the org, like that people can access if they need to.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like a medical supply ship, maybe one that's geared towards weapons and armor and ammunition, and one for food and things. I don't know. It's an idea. It's something to do, you know? It gives you something to do, at least.
Okay, so the one thing that you guys haven't mentioned yet until just now is medical. So I think it's a good segue into that. Have you guys tried that at all? What do you guys think? Has anybody drugged you at an outpost yet? So, Seggellion, go ahead. You shook your head.
I got
yes.
drugged at Grimhex. That's the only thing that I got. It was hilarious too. I was playing with Revere from Galog.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, want to go do drugs at Grimhex?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I do. Let's go." And it was a real like that's all it was. It's just people ODing one another. And I'm like, "This is fun."
Yep. I was just at a random. I think I was at Everest Harbor or something, and dude just walks up to me with the medical gun and just delivered 100% of everything to me. And I was just like, okay. So I had to, I don't think there was, I guess I could have gone to the medical bed there, but instead I got in my ship, flew it drunk to another outpost
Nice.
and landed somehow, and then got into a medical bed to deal with the problem. But I tried the detox pen. It didn't work out. So Dtox, you're the first person to have your item in game from all the streamers,
yeah.
like your Tarkov item. So
Yeah.
your detox pen.
It has to be administered anally, though. That's the only problem. That's
okay.
It
So
doesn't
that's why
work
it didn't work.
otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked,
that's it.
but it just didn't work that well. I was hoping it would lower it quicker, but I was.
That was my own.
Brutal.
That was my request.
No matter what input you put, it puts the opposite. It'll just go, okay, you're turning right. I'm gonna put double left. And that's just all it did. So I just went decoupled and I tapped and just floated down to the landing pad. So if you are drunk, if you were drugged and you're trying to save yourself or whatever, go decoupled and just little taps and slowly get yourself down to the landing pad. I actually did a lot of stuff with medical gameplay. Checked out all the drugs. You could pre-drug yourself. So if you possibly get a tier 2 injury, you could be masking that injury before you even get it. So people going into battle, things like that, you can pre-administer some of these things. So that I thought was really interesting, and just the sheer
So you can get
detail of it. There's a lot going
stimmed
on.
up.
Yeah, you can get stimmed up. Exactly.
Like stimmed up, like steroids before the fight, so that when you do accrue an injury or something, it's not as noticeable.
Yep.
I haven't actually done a huge amount with the medical man. I honestly, I've just been looting. I've just been going around looking for loot for the most part, and then obviously suffering from medical gameplay here and there.
Yeah.
The guys drugged me up once. I had that experience already. That was pretty interesting. Just being totally drugged up and all these creeps standing around me over my bed, staring down at me.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it was a little bit weird. It didn't feel nice. I think I died probably from stubbing my toe on a step or something, and then I just woke up in the hospital again. But the medical gameplay I haven't really explored a huge amount yet. But and I will do. And I imagine if I'm doing some more sort of FPS operations with my org, it's going to bring a whole new dynamic to that. We're going to need people going around with actual med guns, people dragging people out of corridors when they're downed, and administering medical attention if they need it, that kind of thing. I mean, there's possibility of you might even need to airlift people out to fix them if they're not willing to just backspace, right? So it could be pretty cool.
I've had some of the most fun I've had in this patch, and I like when you just mentioned body dragging. I just thought to this moment that I had. I think it was yesterday, possibly 2 days ago. I can't remember. I went to Security Post Korea to lower a criminal rating that I got because the NPCs of a bunker mission all spawned in the spawn closet. So I accidentally shot a security guard when I thought I was shooting a bad player. So I was going to lower my criminal rating, and there was a guy looting at Korea. And PC 101, who I was playing with, he goes up to the guy and he's like, "Hey man, you friendly?" It was like, it was like Daisy. It was crazy. He was like, "Hey man, you friendly?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm friendly." And they were like, "Okay, cool." And he goes into, I hope somebody took this clip because it's so funny. He goes into a room and I got my sniper pointed at the room, and PC goes in with him. PC comes out and he's got his light on and he just shakes his head like, "Kill him." And then I go out, then he goes out and the guy comes out and I sniped him. and like we just like started looting his
Nice.
body, and he was downed. He didn't like backspace or anything, and I could have healed him after looting his body. We're like, hey, just hang there, we'll get you up, but we're gonna take your stuff. And then the game put me in the collision of it was a mess after that. But like the possibilities of this patch are mind-blowing for me. Like for Dtox and I feel like it's all about the looting. Seggellion, I feel like
definitely.
it's about the 3.14 little hotfix they did, and the thing that they mentioned recently on the patch watch. Do you know what we're talking about here? The 30K.
The 30K.
The 30K fix. I haven't seen that yet. Have you?
Because it's not in.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
well, I know everyone's talking about it. So
everyone's talking about it except for CIG now, and I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah.
Oh,
not working.
Well, when did they post the patch watch? It was probably like Thursday. So I doubt they're gonna say anything on the weekend. But I'm worried, man. I'm worried they said it too early, because it was still in like what was it getting reviewed? It's still under review. So who knows if it's actually. Like, it could work, but it could be detrimental for the game overall. We don't know. Like, it could break something.
They're probably so excited that they had something potentially that, they couldn't wait to
share it,
to tell everybody and share. And it makes me laugh. Didn't Chad say something like, yeah, Chris asked me if it was possible or something?
Yeah.
It's like, really? Like, he's only just asked you if that's possible to do now?
Like it's only important now?
Obviously, yeah, I guess because it's more important now, obviously. But it's funny that it's sometimes you get that, like, it kind of wakes you up to how much power Chris has over these sort of things, over the game, right?
Like, I feel like it's more than that, though. I feel like it's. Do you think this is possible given how we've updated persistence? Do you think it's possible how we've updated our servers now, where it may not have been possible before? That's kind of how I looked at it.
For sure, but what it's like it has to come from Chris. Like, why wouldn't it come through from the team? Like, why wouldn't everybody be like, on that? Like,
everything goes through
like
Chris
hot on it.
At this, I think
that's the thing.
It's crazy, yeah, but.
That's why it's like, really, that's a Chris thing, like fixing 30Ks and giving us like a temporary relief. Maybe because that's something that the team wouldn't like to dedicate time to if they weren't sure about it. Yeah. But if Chris says put some time into it, it gives them the okay. So maybe it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's possible, Seggellion. How do you? Say this comes in, so we're going to talk about the potential of 3.15. Does it change the way you play? Does it change the types of cargo that you would be, the routes that you would be going for? Because I know like people did like scrap, and there used to be much more risky things because the risk was the 30K. How often is a risk piracy versus a risk 30K? I think 30K was always a more significant risk than piracy ever was. But, I mean, again, I don't do this that often, so your insight for me is pretty valuable here when it comes to this.
It's interesting. Nobody ever asked me this stuff. So probability of piracy is pretty low. I'd say less than 10%.
Yeah.
Probability of 30K maybe like 50, 60%. So quite a difference. Yeah. However, I'm not afraid. So I don't care about 30Ks. I'm belligerent. I will trade in sunlight and in rain. So I will continue to do the runs I normally do. However, the whole deal with the ships might change my trade schedule. I'm still working that out. And we have better commodity prices now. Jack Axton is finding stuff that we didn't have before. So there might be some change that happens. But I never predicted any of that. When I saw 3.15, I was like, whatever. I'll hold on until 3.16 when the Hall C comes out and everything changes. But there's a little bit of change here for me, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are ready to give any detail on that, but do you know any of the items that have come in? Because I just haven't looked at cargo hauling yet. It was like the next thing on my list to look at.
Med supplies is becoming more popular, which is cool. Obviously,
Okay.
Laranite has always been there. I mean, titanium. I'm super happy with titanium. I've been able to fill up all week. All of my C2s have been able to fill up with titanium. So
Sick.
that's really
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously, gold and agricium are still out there. Acetine as well.
Uh-huh.
So it's nice. We got options
Awesome.
now. Yeah,
Options are
and
good.
like you talk about scrap, and like lots of people do scrap, and I want to believe it's almost boils down to personality and what you feel comfortable with. So I think that's where the scrap runners come in. Not highly lucrative, but pretty safe.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of person you are, I guess.
True.
Yeah.
Do you ever use
What about?
the price chain, like when the price commodity thing comes up? Do you utilize that as a cargo hauler at all?
I did that in 3.14, but I kept losing money, so I didn't. But I'll try it again in 3.15. I know Rav's been using it, but he hasn't said very optimistic things. So we'll just keep our eyes
Okay.
close to that, I guess. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Dtox, you sounded like you were gonna jump in there.
Yeah. What about the? Has anybody looked into the commodity price alerts yet? Do we know if they're actually doing anything worthwhile?
That's
Because
what-
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we
Ah.
just referred to. I just said it in like the weirdest way.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like the commodity thing, that thing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my
My
bad.
bad. Yeah, yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the potential with that being lucrative is huge. Like that's the potential for lots of mini jump towns all over the place. Hopefully, like if the commodity price alerts are dumping out these really high risk, high reward commodities, you have these little mini hotspots popping up around on servers. Hopefully,
For sure.
for people who to capitalize on whether they want to trade, make money, or go there for some PKing, player killing. I don't know. That's the hope for me. I've been waiting for that to be decent for a while.
Yeah, I was definitely going to take the side of a commodity price. I want to go haul that. That sounds cool. And then other players get the same alert, so it could just bring some excitement for everybody. I guess, Seggellion, what excites you the most about, like, why do you cargo haul? And you did seem to be very, like, welcoming of pirates popping around and not being too upset about it. Do you, like, are you excited about those things? Are you excited about Jumptown 2 potentially? Even though Jumptown 2 does not feel like a cargo hauling, traditional cargo hauling mission type thing at all. Yeah, like that is another 315 thing, and then we'll jump when he's done. Dtox, you feel free to jump in as well about that and what we know about it so far.
Yeah,
Sure.
so my adversity around piracy is just emergent gameplay. Or
Yeah.
wait, no, I encourage emergent gameplay. I don't
Yeah.
have any adversity around piracy. I don't really care. Because, like, listen, I played Ultima Online, and as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, the majority of my soul is dead. Like, just from that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the pirates in this game are never going to be greater than the ones that I've come across, and am still coming across in Ultima Online. Because
Yeah.
those 19-year-olds in UO are freaking savages.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever in Star Citizen. And like one thing that I've been seeing is people kind of like the pirates attack, and then my escorts kind of take it personally if the pirates attack me.
Yeah.
So now the escorts are like, oh, we're going out with arms now. So there's
Yeah.
kind of something that's being generated from that, and I
Sure.
want to foster that through my stream. Like if I can get more pirates coming in, we'll get more escorts, and maybe we'll just start every day. We'll have like 20v20 matches, and I'll just try and survive that as a cargo hauler. That's what I'm
It'd be
seeing.
fun. I've always wanted that experience, and I've never been able to achieve it because I don't. It's just the pirates. It like you said, it just happens so rarely that I don't have. I have a hard time going like, hey, come by and escort with me because there might be the slimmest chance of somebody coming by. So I've never like even bothered to ask anybody yet. But I guess. Like, how do you go about it? Do you just go, hey, if you guys want to hang around, do you pay them? How do you do it?
I do. I have a spreadsheet as well, and I have a little display that pops up on my stream like an overlay, and it
Okay.
shows how much money people are making. And I think what I'm going to start doing is doing like a merc thing where you get paid per pirate kill, but we'll have to see how that works. But I'd love to incorporate that into a spreadsheet. I think that would be fun.
That's interesting. Neat. So
But
Dtox.
it is the
go
cost
ahead.
of doing business, so.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Dtox, what about you as far as Jumptown 2, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like a snatch and grab, isn't it? They're creating like a snatch and grab scenario
Yeah.
where you get in and you take as much as you can and then get out. Um, but I wasn't 100% sure from what I like from what I took in. It's there's going to be obviously we got the multiple drug labs around the verse, the three main drug labs like Paradise Cove, Jumptown, and the other one I forget the name. Um, but like according to the presentation, it's going to depend on how much trade is being done out of the drug labs.
Yeah.
And that will initiate a Jumptown 2, which then, depending on how much trade is being done out of each lab, that dictates where the Jumptown is going to pop up,
True. Yeah. So I guess
I
trade
think.
it is sort of your traditional trading type
Yeah.
mission then, at least at the very start. I guess phase 1, right? So you're going to need the cargo haulers to drive out the drugs from those labs, and then you get the more like FPS stage of it after.
I think so. Like, I don't know. I need to rewatch that panel, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough the first time round, so I don't know if I'm going to watch it again just yet.
True.
But I mean, it was good. Obviously, some of it was good, but man, it was so much rehashed stuff that we'd heard already. But yeah, if I recall, like, I don't exactly know the full implications of the trade by players, but if it's the way I think it is, it's basically just going to be always on. Like it's always something that can be initiated by players based on how Quanta is interacting with everything in the background, based on how much trade people are doing out of these different drug labs, and then once the threshold has been met for whether how much trading is done, then it initiates the jump down, and I think that's when we get the 2 hour limit, right? Like
Yep.
the 2 hour event. Um, and that's when you can go and snatch and grab, and it's all like every man for himself. I think that's how it's going to work. And then I'm assuming what happens is then that there's a cool off period, and then people can do it again and keep trading and if that's how it's going to work, it's going to be awesome. Like I'm all for that.
You
I
know what
was
I
really
like about
against
it?
it when it sounded.
No AI.
Yep. Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's like the great equalizer of the live service Star Citizen experience versus the alpha Star Citizen experience. Is like anytime AI is involved, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. But then when it's not, like you could sometimes you just forget the state of the game occasionally, right?
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. And I hope I'm sure I'm like high on copium right now or whatever some of these drugs that we're taking in the game. But I hope that that's the case with this one. Is at least their thought process around it, I think is quite solid for to be a fun experience.
I don't know anything about
Yeah.
this AI you speak of. Can you tell me more about that? Like, I'm serious. Is it like the PvP stuff?
Well, just
No,
in general,
Like for example,
any
like Xeno.
NPCs. Yeah.
any
Yeah.
NPCs. They're just really broken right now.
Yeah. Like if you go down to a bunker mission, which is like one of the new things in 3.15. I guess we should talk more about those if we haven't yet. They're
Yeah.
what were they called? Infiltrate and defend missions is how they describe them. They're all sorts of different levels of it, and you have to gain reputation to get to like there's a final boss mission too. But they come out of this is the first thing with spawn closets. So they come out of spawn closets, but sometimes they don't come out, and there might be a party in that spawn closet, and it's messy. But Dtox, go ahead, because I have to sneeze.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I think with regards to, I'm not going to stray too far off the bunkers, but with like Seggellion, in terms of like dynamic events that CIG is working on, like I don't know how much of Xenothreat you did, but obviously there's AI with Xenothreat, and for like the first few weeks or whatever, it was just garbage. Like the AI would just spawn, it would sit there, you wouldn't react to people shooting it. You'd get like 25 guys in these big Xenothreat battles, and you'd all just be staring at an Idris shooting it until it blew up. Um, that's the problem with like the AI. Obviously, it doesn't work most of the time. So when it's connected to these dynamic events, it kind of just puts a downer on the whole thing. But with Jumptown 2, like Mike said, like hopefully there won't be any AI involved here. So there's it's potential for just pure sort of emergent gameplay with players PvP. It's a PvP event at the end of the day, whether you're trading or turning up to go and shoot things. It's PvP. Um, but yeah, with the bunkers, man, they're just yeah, the AI. It's like you get there and you're excited and looking for that loot, and they're all just kind of there's four of them huddled around in a closet, like just staring at each other, and
But then they wake
they're
up.
just like, yeah, and then they
They've wo-
kill you, and it's the most frustrating thing.
They just wake up.
You've Yeah, and they have like some sort of laser aim. They turn around, shoot you in the head 3 times or something, and then you die because you relax because the AI is terrible. You relax and you don't care about them, and then they suddenly wake up and kill you.
Have either of you been in a down state yet?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you get there?
I as an AI, yeah, it was a similar sort of situation. I think I actually accidentally shot the guards like you did.
Yep.
Because when they're in the shadows, you can't see their armor very well, and
Yeah.
if you're not quick enough because of the janky AI, you can't predict what they're going to do. So they might just shoot you and kill you. So I shot first. I killed this guard, and then all the guards turned on me, and I died. Yeah, and I just kind of lying there on the steps for 20 minutes waiting for nobody to show up. Unfortunately,
Anytime that I had an AI experience, they killed me outright, where I didn't end up in a down state. So I guess it was like maybe a server problem, something like that, where they just shot one too many bullets, and like I was in a down state, but they had already killed me, kind of thing. The only time I'd been in a down state was walking up a ramp. I just fell and died. And then I fell through
Yeah.
the world, so I wasn't able to be recovered. I have yet to be recovered yet. But that would be my biggest gripe so far of the experience in 315 for me is Richard Tyrod comes on and he's like 99% of your deaths you're going to be in a down state. Where 99% of my deaths I've been dead. So that just didn't translate into the game very well, what he expected to happen versus what actually happened, at least for me. So that's kind of why I asked you guys that. Was most of my deaths I did not end up in a down state at all. It was just dead, unfortunately.
I think I
and
did
respawning.
once. I think I did, but it was like I tripped over something and I was
Yeah.
down.
Yep.
'Cause I've had so many of those, and I only think I got into a down once from that.
Yeah. That is the like the meme of this patch, I think, is it's just you're just walking, and I know we've had it before, but it's like actually detrimental now. Like you used to just fall down and it was whatever. But now you fall down and you're just in a down state and you're done. It's pretty funny. And like you lose the gear on you. Do you
That's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like let's touch on that just a little bit, because I think that is obviously the really good and the sort of frustrating from this is do you guys feel the loss now when you die? Is it because I think that there's levels of frustration for video games that can be considered fun, and I do find the idea of like, oh, I lost my gear, man, that's so frustrating. But like
Yeah.
now I got to get back on my horse and get it again. I've never wanted to play Star Citizen more than I do now because of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, if I've spent an hour looting outposts and then I die, and like properly, and all my gear's sitting there, like I want to go get that back. Um, and it keeps you playing. It's just literally a game. That's what games are meant to do. They're meant to keep you playing, right?
Yeah.
You don't just. Depends on what you lose. Obviously, sometimes there's throwaway stuff. Maybe you didn't need anything, but if it's something in there that you kind of proud of accumulating, maybe it was a load of ammunition or something. I don't know. Maybe you actually found something rare in the game. You actually want to go get it back. If it's worth getting back. So yeah, you go back, or you get a friend who's in the area to go to collect it for you. And it just gives you that more of a, like, I've never felt like SC feels more like a game than it does at the moment. I mean, that's crazy amounts of copium, but it feels, when you open up your inventory and you see items with information and images, and you can drag it from your the loot box to your inventory, and then go and put it in your ship and store it in your ship, and then go park your ship, come back tomorrow and it's all in there again. That's quite a big leap for this game, man. It's quite a big leap. So yeah, it feels good, but obviously there are still these problems. We still have these issues where you're stubbing your toe and instantly dying, and it's going to cost you a lot of time. It's frustrating to deal with.
Sure. And Segelian, what about you? Kind of, are you feeling the same about? I mean, for me, this brings like you and I have the Ultima Online connection.
I was just gonna go there.
Yeah, go there, man, because that I get that
Did
vibe.
you do you know what the Shroud of Shadows is? Have you heard of the Shroud of Shadows?
No.
No, from UO. Okay, well, there was this cloak you could wear, and it allows you to look like a ghost. You know,
Oh yes,
it
yes,
was
yes.
called the
Okay.
Shroud of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I had one of those, and it really made my UO experience. I was so happy. It's like, yeah, I could finally be a ghost in the game.
Yeah.
And then I lost it like 2 years later, and I was so heartbroken. You know, because that's the way UO is. If you put something in the wrong bag and drop it somewhere, stuff gets mixed, and you,
Yep.
you lose it, right?
Yep.
And that was it for UO. My heart was broken, and I kind of just detached myself from UO after I lost that because that was it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd go on eBay, and I wasn't really feeling to buy that thing off of eBay. But then, like, I was walking around Orison Spaceport or Orison, and I clipped through the geometry. I died, and obviously, you can't loot your body when you're clipped through the geometry. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go again. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be in a position of
Yeah.
losing my crap permanently.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're really gonna fix that because, like, Star Citizen has always had these desyncing issues, which causes you to go clip through the geometry, and it's game over after that. So there's some
Yeah.
big challenges they're
Gold
gonna have
armor,
to
gold
tackle.
gun, things
Yep,
like that that
yep.
people have. Man, the first couple days of 315 wave 1, the amount of Spectrum threads. I lost my subscriber
Oh my
gear. What am I
God.
gonna do? Like
Ugh.
so Jellian, I always referred back to my Ultima Online experiences with this.
Yes, you
When
should.
when
It's the heart of gaming.
yeah, but like for me personally, if I had something like that gear that I really liked that I wanted to show off, I didn't show it off in a place where I could lose it. I showed it off on like a mannequin in my
Yeah.
house. So like that's how I've
Yeah.
always just like my mentality with any like subscriber gear or anything that might be rare, my Vandal helmet, whatever, that kind of stuff. I look at that as something that you would show off at your house, not something that I would wear that much. If I wore it, I guess I would kind of do what you did, is like maybe I would wear it at Orison. But even then, there's that the obvious like possible clipping issue. But like, hopefully they would resolve those things closer to a beta or live type release, which who knows when that would happen. But in the end, like, I don't know. I don't put those things at risk. But then other people were like, why would you have them if you aren't using them? And I'm like, I don't know, man.
Exactly.
I never used my good stuff in Ultima because I didn't want to lose it. I would just collect.
I wore
I
that
don't
thing
use.
everywhere.
I collect. Yeah. So that was
I
me.
used it and I lost it. That's
I'm
it.
a goblin.
That's what happens.
I am
He's
a
a
Probably
goblin.
better, smarter.
Now, I think this is like really the last thing that I have on my like list of things to discuss here is, and we touched on it a little bit with Dtox, I think, but for me, this is like everything in 315. The vehicle inventory and the ability to kind of make your ships your home. You can have your water there. You can have food there. You can have your extra gear there. You can have everything you need in your ship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys plan on like going for that experience? I'm going to try as best I can to live in my ship instead of at another location.
Yeah. Seggellion, do you want to go first?
I don't really know if my gameplay is like fits into that because I'm always kind of flipping ships. Like I just go in and I got 4 C2s and I fill them, fill them, sell them, cycle them like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, but I know Carbon Tales. They were talking about that last night. Like they were
Okay.
so frustrated with the whole experience. They said, "Well, we're just gonna live in our carrack and never do anything. That's gonna be it. Have all of our crap in our carrack." And I said, "That's a cool idea." So I don't know. Maybe I'll try. I never gave it much thought, but maybe I'll give that a try just for fun.
Yeah, like maybe one of your C2s is your home C2 in a way. The problem with that is it doesn't have a medical thing. That was one of the most disappointing things for me about the C2. It's like, I can't respawn in it. But
I don't like the ship. I fly it just because I have to, but
I love
I can't
it.
wait for the Hull C to come around. You like
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I just like the way it looks, I guess. I don't know. Just a visual thing for me. But what about you, Dtox?
Yeah, I mean, we did a little bit of it in 3.14 as like a prep, like a test phase where
Uh-huh.
I'd get like 5 or 6 of my guys together, and I did it back in like 3.9, I think. It was one of my YouTube videos called Crewing Up with a Carrack, and it's like you get a small crew and you run missions together. You use like the snubcraft, you use every facility available on the ship, and just try and play the game in Imagine Land like it's like it all matters more, right?
Yeah.
But in 3.14 we did it again. It was a lot more fun. So you get like a small crew together. You don't really leave the ship. Everyone operates out of the ship. You got the med bay on the Carrack. You got like a little snubcraft you can put in the hangar bay. So we were sending like people off in small groups in the snubcraft to go do bunker missions, while the crew who were still on the ship went off and did bounties or mercenary missions. And then we had one guy who was in charge of all the food and everything, and he had all the food in his inventory, and he'd like because we were surviving for so long, he'd like set the table in the mess hall. Because we were surviving for so long, we needed food and drink, so we'd all like go back to the mess hall and sit down and drink and eat, and then like that we'd like park up in an armistice zone and then like eat and drink and relax a little bit, and then go back to doing missions and things. And then we had like some guys who had crime stats. So throughout all this, we had like bounty hunters coming to take out our ship. At the same time, we had like people on the guns defending it and fighting them off. And it's some of the most fun you can have, like when you do that kind of stuff. And it's only going to be a little bit more better with 3.15 because there's player loot and there's other things at stake. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit more of that in this patch.
Yeah, for me, like that example that you gave there, I've been trying to do that for, I'd say, years, and not to too much success. Obviously, it's not easy to get anything done in a group in the game, but I feel like it just has so much more purpose now with the way the loot exists and the fact that you have a vehicle inventory that I don't think not everyone can access. Have you guys checked this out yet? I just briefly tried this, where the only thing that you could see is what you put in, and they see what they put in. And that is kind of messy for pirates, unfortunately. I think that's a little unfortunate.
Yeah. I think it's only the owner that can put stuff in there. I think I did it with Skype and I couldn't see his inventory when I was on his ship.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I haven't actually tested this. I'm sure people in chat have, but I don't know if blowing up the ship drops that ship inventory in a box in space.
I tried.
I don't know if that works.
It was very weird. I blew up. I think we blew up a C2, and we had a bunch of our. No, it was a Carrack. We had a bunch of our bodies in it because we had died so many times because we were testing medical gameplay, and there was a bunch of different items in the ship, but the only thing that fell was like a helmet in a box and like a chest piece. It was weird. So it was not cool. Yeah, Skyven said it's sharded, but I don't know.
Everything's sharded now. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's one that it's like that takes away from the potential of 3.15, unfortunately, because if you had your Carrack, let's say, like in the example that you gave, and people were everyone's going out and they're like, some people are going to security post Carrack because that's where the best loot is, or somebody's doing bunker missions over here, and all right, I'm gonna go to the store because the food guy has got to be the food guy. He's got to go get some food, and then he's bringing it back to the ship, right? And everybody's constantly coming back and forth in and out of the ship, but adding to this global inventory that everybody in the ship has access to. I thought that would be like the absolute like cap on 3.15 for multi, like they've done all these multi-crew gameplay improvements recently with turrets and all this stuff. Like, man, that would have just finished off 3.15. And obviously we're going to deal with bugs, and obviously there's going to be issues, but I could deal with that stuff if we can. There was like we can all play together and achieve whatever common goal, if we could, you know. So I
Yeah, that
heard
would be
that's how
so
it was
much better.
supposed to be. So hopefully that is how it is.
Yeah, I think the way you can work around it is probably having one guy who's like your quartermaster or the ship owner,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of gives their items to him, and then he puts it in, and you
Yeah.
know, people need stuff, he has to get it out and give it to them. But yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same as everyone being able to go into the inventory and take stuff and
Exactly.
and
Yeah. Because what
and
if that
work
guy
towards a
falls
goal.
walking up a ramp? You know, then what?
Exactly.
If your
Yeah.
quartermaster's dead, everything's gone. So
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll kind of give the floor to you guys a little bit. Is there anything else that we maybe haven't touched on that you're excited about for 315, or something that you want to touch on at all when it comes to this?
I mean, we got 315X, right? We still got the Ares and the Redeemer
True.
to come in at some point. I mean, that's
Right.
I'm excited about what they can bring to the game. Go ahead, Seggellion.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. And the Ares
Oh,
as well, the Ion. I forgot about those ships actually. So yeah.
Yeah. What about
yeah.
bombing?
I mean,
What
Have you
about
guys-
bombing? I blew up. I blew myself. It was fun.
You blew up yourself?
Yeah. Well, I dropped the bomb and I saw it falling. It was really slow, so I thought I'd chase after it for a bit. And then desync happened magically, and then I blew up.
So you ran into the bomb before it hit the ground?
I was just taking a look at it. You know, I would say running
That's
into it. I
funny.
was investigating.
That's good. I
Have you guys
haven't
played
touched
Sea
it.
of Thieves?
Yes.
You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope like I was just thinking about the looting of ships, and like the sinking ships in Sea of Thieves I think would be cool. Like anybody can access anything in Sea of Thieves, but you kind of got to risk it a little bit, you know? Maybe
Yeah.
they can employ some type of mechanic like that. I don't know.
I
yeah,
think
that
eventually.
would be great.
You know, maybe when a ship is disabled or blown up or something in the future, that it can have
And
a
there's, like, a
state where
charred-
anybody can access.
There's
Yeah,
like a
like it
charred husk
unlocks-
remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
like an EMP or something would like unlock the interior or something for like X
That'd be
amount of
cool.
time, or I don't know. Engineers got to reroute the power relays to lock it again. I don't know.
I'll
And
remember that.
hacking,
years
right?
at it.
What is hacking
years
gonna
at it.
do?
Yeah. What's hacking? There's so many
True.
things
True.
that open up. Man, there's so many little things in the near-ish horizon that could open up a lot more when it comes to this
big-
stuff. The difference with
Big time.
315, I feel like from any other patch though, is that instead of it being a patch where it's this like small update that will lead into something really cool eventually, like this is like the really cool thing finally, I feel like loot, inventory.
It's a big game changer.
Yeah. It's the culmination of a lot of little things coming together into something that's clearly a mess at the moment, but we're still in wave 1. Like, you know, I guess I'll ask you guys this, because again, I said I didn't want to touch too much on the bugs because hopefully they will be resolved by the time it is live. Are you guys? I mean, we're all patient if we're Star Citizen backers, I think, to some extent. Are you? I have no desire to rush this thing out. None. Like, I feel like take all the time you need, because when it goes live, I want to start from zero and I don't want to run into too much, like too many major issues. So I don't know, like, what are your thoughts around that? It's obviously 17 days late to be live technically at this point, but you know, they don't really hit the timeline on that. It's usually wave 1 for the end of the year now, or the end of the quarter or whatever. But what are your thoughts on that stuff? I guess we'll start with Seggellion, because we started with Dtox a few times.
It's funny, like you're talking about coming out and the fact that it's late. I thought it was coming out on the 22nd of October.
Oh,
LOL.
right, because of that
This Friday
that tweet
might happen.
Yeah. That tweet that came out.
So like the biggest thing I guess for me was and it's a bit of a was the physicalized inventory interface, like the clicking and dragging, right clicking, and then you know, it doesn't kind of works a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's my biggest thing is the interface there. But the problem is like I just made a website like a couple of weeks ago, and the interface on it was terrible. And they had strong words about the interface. I'm like, ah, crap, I made a crappy interface. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I still made a crappy interface. And then like CIG released a 3.15 with the interface issue, and I'm like, man, like I can't say anything bad about the interface when I just released a website with a shitty interface. So, you know, it's iterative. It is what it is. Interfaces are hard. So,
Yeah. I really don't have
yeah.
much of an issue with it other than the third person camera. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It just obviously is going to go through and get all the little quirks and issues with it. It'll get resolved, we hope, and they spend some time on it. I hope they realize like how important this patch is to some people. I don't know if it's for everybody, but yeah, I hope they spend a lot of time on it. And yeah, I mean, are you guys itching to play it and get it out to live no matter what the state it's in? Or for me, I can wait a month.
I mean,
I can wait a month.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Keep this thing in PTU as long as possible. Unfortunately, I got a feeling they won't. Like, I think they're going to push it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would much prefer them to keep it in PTU, give us more time to play around with it. Like, one thing I'm trying to do in the PTU is just find out as much as I can about loot and loot rates, because you know, one of the fun things for me when it's live is going around collecting stuff that I know I'm going to keep for a little bit longer now. So
Yeah, things you
know, I
need,
want to
where
kind
to
of
find them, right?
yeah, I want to be able to like find some good locations, more unknown locations in the PTU, and know that I can kind of go there and farm stuff if I need to, and farm sort of more rarer things here and there.
Do you
I don't think
have
that's how
any
it works
info
though.
yet?
No,
It all
I do
seems
know.
completely random to me.
Yeah, I believe there's like a timer once you've completely looted a box. Like I think there's a timer now where it will refresh what's in the contents of the box after X amount of minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes, I think,
Okay.
if you take everything out. Other than that, yeah, I don't know how their loot distribution works at all. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that's good at breaking down that kind of stuff. I rely on, you know, the other more analytical people to do that. So, I mean, I've been going around just kind of looking for the best stuff I can and just seeing what I can find. So I'm sure some people that are tracking down data and numbers, and they're going to figure out, you know, exactly how the loot distribution works. But yeah, for me at the moment, like I don't know exactly, but I want some rare stuff at least. I want to know where it all is for when it goes live. So
True.
yeah, no rush. It obviously needs work.
Yeah. The only thing I've seen is like the red boxes seem to have armor in them. The white long rectangles seem to have guns in them. Then you have your ammo boxes. So but they don't. The ammo boxes don't always have ammo in them, and I don't know. I've seen subscriber items in the boxes. I think that was interesting. People were pretty pissed off about that.
Yeah, the demon fang, like the demon fang knife.
Yeah, like the knives and stuff
Or-
I've seen, and the guns. I've seen some pistols that were subscriber stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah, the best thing
I
I
mean-
found so far is a grenade launcher and some grenade launcher ammo.
they could just be testing it. You know, testing the water's loot
Mhm.
distribution and throwing any old item in there for now. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Placeholder.
not. Yeah, placeholder like rare items. Maybe they're not actually going to be in live, but yeah, I agree. It's like the you know, the bigger crates, the more militarized looking crates usually have something a little bit juicier in it. Certain guns, grenade launchers, like you said, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if people are trolling about this alien rocket launcher in the game. I feel
think
like
they're trolling,
I've
dude.
been trolled about it.
I've never heard
Yeah.
anything about this, so they might be trolling. This might be
Yeah,
like a
me
meme
neither.
from your community that you are not a part of, and they're just
Yeah.
all
Well,
laughing
Axis,
at you.
literally, Axis. I've questioned him. You know, Axis Raid. He comes in. He's
Yeah.
in your channel, right? He says he's found the ammo for it, but not the gun. Apparently,
I
and
would
whether he's-
believe him. Yeah.
me too. Like, I genuinely believe him. He's like, trust me. Like, I would never be that kind of guy to lie about this thing.
Nah.
He says, I found the ammunition, but I've never found the actual rocket launcher. So I don't know, man. I'm probably just looking for nothing at this point. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Has he got a screenshot of it?
No, that's what I said.
No.
I was like, show me pictures then, man.
Fake
And he's like,
news.
oh,
Yeah.
didn't
No,
take pictures.
no pictures. Not real. Not real. at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, I
exactly.
saw I saw Aliens in Star Citizen, and I didn't take a picture of it, and now here I am. So
Yep.
here we are.
Yeah, not real. The one thing that I am finding in the containers that I never found in the game anywhere else were the harvestables. So
Oh,
Yeah, I got
that's
one of
true.
those
Forgot
too.
to
Yep.
yeah, forgot to talk about them. You can sell them in certain places too.
are
I'm
they
pretty sure.
valuable?
I collected. So have you seen those comp boards? It's
Yeah.
like it's basically like scrap. You can, at least I went to PO, and I don't think PO was buying it. I haven't tested it extensively, but some of the foods that I picked out of these boxes came up in my player inventory to sell,
Yeah.
and so did the comp boards. But I don't know if I couldn't sell them because PO wasn't accepting them, or just maybe they're not sellable at all. But I'm hoping they are. Like, I'm hoping you can actually sell some of these things and make a bit of extra,
Yeah.
credits on the side.
Yeah, we just have to find where to sell them. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So I thought I was completely set up for today's show. But I did forget one thing. And that is when a person comes in, because we do take calls on this show, and we have a couple people in the queue, and I think it's probably a good time to jump into those. The cameras are going to get a little bit messed up, so just people that are watching, get prepared for that. And yeah, it'll be just a little bit messy for a second, but I will resolve it once we bring in our first caller. So again, before we jump into anything, is there anything that you guys kind of want to touch on, or anything else before we move on to the calls? Just, I'm assuming
400i is a scam.
Oh yeah, let's
That's all
talk
I
about the
gotta say.
400i a little bit. That might
Oh,
not be a bad shout. I've tried it. I'm not a big fan. I think that's like
Oh, you're not?
I'm very particular about the interiors of my ships.
Yeah.
They like I said, I think the most important thing to me is that vehicle inventory. So the fact that you can live on your ship, that is everything to me. And it just doesn't feel like I would it doesn't give me the feel that I can live on there. I think like the best inventories in the game for me personally are the Argo Mole. That feels like a very livable ship, like just sci-fi
Totally.
perfection when it comes to the inventory as far as living on it with like a couple people, and the Carrack. Those two for me are like the perfect ones. And for whatever reason, the 400i just doesn't feel livable. It's just like a kind of like I don't know, like a showroom. So
Yeah,
I need to have that immersion level of the look, and then you have the inventory inside that you can use. So you have the function and you have the form. And I just don't get the form in the 400i. People seem to love it. They think it's a better inventory than the 600i, but not a fan.
Do you mean the interior?
Yeah.
The interior, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah. The
Okay.
interior look
yeah.
of the 400i I do not like. The inventory aspects of the game are important to me. That's why I am touching on the interior and the way it looks. So
Yeah, I love the damn look of the exterior, and I do agree with you. The interior is a mess. Like it's the Starfarer all over again. It doesn't feel.
Oh no,
It's not
really
that
that bad? It's
bad.
not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It can't be.
Really? It's so like
can't
it
be.
doesn't feel intuitive. Like I walk in and then I go through like one room and there's these two, like on the left the component room and on the right the component room. They're like see-through glass. Your components are there. It's that feels weird. And then you got this mini elevator on the right up to like the habitation area. When you come in, like you can see the little bike garage through past the grav gen component. It does feel, to me, it feels like they absolutely had to stick to to a size of the ship, and they had to cram the interior into it to make it fit. It's kind of how it feels. When you get up to the habitation deck, it's nice. Like the habitation deck's nice. The back room with the planning table and the seats, that's all cool. The other little habitation rooms. But I think that initial interior, when you walk in, it feels like a total mess to me. Sorry, no offense to the people who made it.
No, people
Overall,
were
though,
pissed,
the ship is a
man. When I said I didn't like
Were
it,
they?
people were pissed at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, how
I mean,
can
I
you not-
like it a lot.
What?
And and I'm not an Origin fan. I hate Origin ships. This is the first Origin ship I like. It's got to have that Meridian skin though. It's got to have that
Yeah.
chrome Darth Maul, like the presentation CitizenCon where it's coming through the clouds and it's got that chrome skin. Feels like, you know, some Sith badass is about to walk out of it. And normally I'm not a big fan of Origin ships because they are just a little bit too sort of clinical and clean and boring for me. But yeah, this one's cool, man. This one's
Awesome.
it's the exterior at least.
I always
Okay.
think of Flight of the Navigator with the Meridian skin. I want to just fly around listening to the Beach Boys.
That's it.
I can't be the
Hell
only
yeah.
one.
I think the exterior. It's Star Wars. The
Naboo.
ship that they flew
Big time.
Queen Amidala on. That's like what it
Yeah.
reminds me of. It's amazing, but the interior, and that is the interior is so much more important than the exterior for me. So I just didn't like the way it's laid out. It feels very cramped
Yeah, I agree with that.
for a
It's
ship
like
the
they had a
size
lot
of
to
a.
do and a lot of space.
Yeah, for a ship the size of a. What was it? What did they compare it to? I'm losing my train of thought here.
Connie?
Yeah, for a
Constellation.
ship the size of the Connie feels so roomy in comparison to me.
Yeah.
Weird.
And sort of intuitive, like the way it's laid out. But the interior of the 400i just feels weird. It doesn't really flow. At least from the moment you
Exactly.
walk in, it doesn't flow. Once you get up to that next deck, it flows. It's just, I think the weirdest part is that whole component room. It's just odd that you have these massive glass doors with the components in them that take up so much space in that room. There's obviously a good reason for it.
Yeah.
For gameplay wise, mechanically, there's probably a good reason for it eventually. But yeah, that feels weird. The bridge though is great. The sort of panoramic view you get with the glass wrapping around, captain in the middle, and you know the two seats to the left and right behind you. That's awesome. And when we saw that in the CitizenCon presentation with like the rain hitting the glass and stuff, that felt like, oh, I'd love to be in there, right? Like super cozy. The bridge feels really cozy. And so does the rear, like the planning room. But yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. It ain't that bad. It's
Yeah.
a good ship. I like it a lot, really, overall.
How do you like it as far as its functionality goes? Does it have a lot of cargo space? How much cargo space does it have? I haven't even looked.
42.
Ew.
True story.
Yeah,
Yep.
not much. And in
Yep.
comparison to the Connie's like 200s, right?
Yeah, somebody in chat was saying like it's not a good comparison to the Connie. It's more like an MSR, and I think that's about right.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But even then, the
Did you
MSR
guys-
is like way better.
Did you guys see that the chessboard is missing in PTU for the MSR?
Really?
No.
Unplayable.
Yeah.
It can't-
That's how I feel. Like
Never
that's
gonna
the
spawn
one
that
thing
ship.
about the MSR.
I tried
Anyways.
to learn chess in Star Citizen because I've never played chess before.
Well, now you're up the creek.
It didn't work out. Like a
Is that
chess
how
piece fell
bad?
through the ground, and I couldn't use it anymore. And yeah, I was winning though.
Is that how bad time, like the travel time is that you have to learn chess in Star Citizen?
No, I wanted to learn chess in Star Citizen just for the memes of like there's a chessboard there. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting 6 months here, and I would say this is the last thing I'll ask you guys before we go to callers. Before CitizenCon and before actually trying out 315, where were you guys in terms of I don't know, level of excitement or passion for the project, or just generally believing in the project before these last few weeks versus where you are after playing 315? We'll start with Dtox.
So me? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I like the changes with 314, the direction we're going. We've got, the vehicle experience team is, I think they're approaching it better now. They're approaching it very slowly in the way that they're balancing out ships and making them all fit trying to make them fit into their respective roles, you know?
Yep.
I think we've seen it with this patch now, 315. I think they're slowly bringing in the differentials with components again as well, which I think I haven't actually. That's a good point. I haven't actually really looked into that a huge amount. Yeah, I've been on Urkel slightly, like to check a few like the shields and things.
People told me just
It looks like
grade is all that matters.
right, but that didn't matter before, did it? It was like the type. It was like all military shields are the same, all competition shields are the same.
They still
Um,
are, but I guess
I
like a grade A is better than a grade B is better than a grade C now. Was the main change in 315.
Right. And that's cool, right? That's a
Yeah.
good idea because they're not throwing in all these variables straight away. It's just it seems to be that they're slowly going to start working on these things again and reintroducing them so that balance isn't completely thrown out of whack again.
Correct.
I love where multi-crew ships were in 314. Like hammerheads are scary. People in single seat fighters can come along and just nuke them, fly around them until they die. If you had crew at least, right, on the guns. I don't know. Overall, I thought 314 is a good to sort of reset a good baseline with the wipe coming in 315 as well, and then putting in infantry and things. I don't know. I'm in a pretty good place for it. I suppose I was in a pretty good place. I didn't feel too sort of unenthusiastic about the game. I quite liked where we're heading. Citizen Con I thought was a little bit of a letdown, but that's another it's a whole other discussion. But um, not like a letdown, but just didn't deliver as much as I thought it should deliver, or could have delivered. But other than that, yeah, I think it's I was in a good place. I'm in a good place with the game at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah. What about you, Seggellion?
I don't really think about it too much. The community is really everything for me in Star
Mhm.
Citizen. Like it's like I feel like when I play Star Citizen, I'm just smoking a cigarette. Like I wake up in the morning, I do my cargo runs, then I actually start my day, like my work day.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that's what I've always done. And, I just do that. I love the scenery. I love the sunsets. The graphics are great. Um, so my enthusiasm between the project or between 314 and 315 hasn't changed. I'm still looking for 316. My 316, it's going to be
Yeah.
a biggie patch for me, I
Yeah.
think. But the whole server wiping thing is obviously a huge obstacle because I'm gonna have to start at 0 again. So
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
Maybe
That's it. I don't know.
yeah, and when 316 comes around, I'd love to have you back on, and maybe we'll
Sure.
bring you and Ravier on. People mention that
Oh,
I
that would
should
be sweet.
yeah, that I should bring Ravier on, but I don't actually know him. I've never really spoken to him before. So maybe
Oh,
I'll
okay.
like through you we'll try and get him on here and see
Yeah.
like what's really changed, cuz that is going to be monumental for cargo haulers or anybody who's interested in moving anything anywhere or buying things. It's going to
Yo,
be a crazy patch.
one thing about Ravi
Mhm.
is like he and Galog, there's a bunch of developers in Galog that are very talented people, and they're
Yeah.
just like reverse engineering all the DataForge files, like
Uh-huh.
and integrating that into a web interface. And I know there's a lot of people doing that. Man, these guys are really going through the weeds and this stuff. So I think outside of the whole gameplay of Star Citizen, just talking to him about the whole data mining thing could be very interesting.
Yeah, sure. We could
Yeah.
definitely touch on that too, because the amount of time, like I've stopped by the stream, and I like to lurk a lot, so I've stopped by his stream quite a bit and seen what he's doing, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot going on
Crazy,
here.
hey?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
exactly.
lot going on.
Exactly. Well,
I just
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I just want to say like one last thing. Like for me, I hope 315 brings because it's a different perspective for me and you and Seggellion. We stream the game and sometimes we create reasons to play and stream the game for the
Yeah.
day, right? I want to see. I'm really hoping we see with 315 maybe with the reset on loot and everything, everyone being sort of hidden ground zero again with trading coming in and all this stuff. I really was hoping that we see more casual players returning again and playing again, just casually, just reasons to just log in and play and make some money, even though there's not a huge amount of stuff to spend it on. I think one of the most active times for this game was when the ROC came out and everyone was out just mining with the ROCs and making money again. And it was really active. Like that's when a lot of my org were playing. Because even though I do events and things here and there, the org is still quite inactive because there's just no reason for people to just casually jump on and play
Yep. The
play the
last time
game
we
on
were
their own
active,
accord.
my org was ROCs.
Right. Yeah. And I'm hoping maybe with trading again coming in, and maybe with maybe mining's in a better place. I don't actually know how that's been in the last few patches,
I tried
but
yesterday. It's iffy, but there's so many 30Ks. I didn't get a good look
yeah.
yet. So I gotta give it a bit more time before I make an opinion on it, I think.
You guys
Yeah.
really think
Well,
it's appropriate for casual players? Like, even if cargo gets better, even if mining gets better, you still think it's like casual players, it's a good place?
don't
I
know
guess he
really.
means casual
I
Star
hope.
Citizen players.
Okay, okay,
I think
gotcha.
that's
All
more
right.
what he's referring to, because I think I think everybody defines the casual player differently. But my guess, and Dtox, you can, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're talking about people who have played Star Citizen before, kind of put it down, and maybe want to have a reason to come back to it, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And
and
that's the majority of people, right? And it's the
I think,
majority of my org. Like it's,
yeah,
we're not just a combat org. We're an industrial org as well. And loads of people who play in my org love doing the industrial stuff, and they just haven't been doing it for a long time now.
yeah. I think we're all in agreement that this is not a game that's ready to be shared mainstream with your average, like, I don't know, League of Legend player or something like that, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
I was thinking No Man's
No.
Sky, to be honest.
Yeah, No Man's Sky would probably be the best translation for a game that's out playable and people are playing a lot of, but they're not ready to play this yet. So, all right. Before
Yeah.
we move on to calls, for me personally, I was like down here on passion for the project and confidence in the project and happy with the direction of things. And then CitizenCon didn't help too much, but 315, it went from here to here. And just and I think it's more like Dtox said, from a content creator perspective, is I just have so much more to do now, and things to do equals smiles on my face and maybe slamming the desk when you get upset and losing something, and that the highs and lows for me is what I love about video games. So I've been enjoying the highs and the lows, and I'm looking forward to more of those in the future. But this is a call-in show. Now, the we'll actually have a discussion about 315 with you guys out there once it's live and once it's more playable and everything like that, and really get an idea of what everybody out there thinks. But we do have a couple callers in the queue, so we're going to bring them in, and it shouldn't change the scene at all. We did a little test while we were talking that whole time, and everything was fine. So, Belladrim, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. So, do you have, before you're on with Dtox and Seggellion? So, if there's anything if there's anything you want to say to them, or in reference to what they talked to, I would say let's start with that.
I'll be honest. I mean, I've been listening to the entire thing, but you guys have talked for so long, like I didn't keep up the list.
Oh,
So
that's
no, nothing,
understandable. Yeah.
nothing specific, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. So, yeah, what did you want to share then?
Yeah, I mean, just my also my overall feelings, and also something more specific about the A2, but I'll get to that a bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, I have access to Wave One, so yeah, I think the biggest, and I just go back to one of the things you guys did about how Citizen Con was like a low, and then after that you play the 315, and it's like it did a better job when it comes to give people back confidence to the product, because we talked last week, Mike, and I told you
We
how
did.
CitizenCon, uh, we were like 20 people in our Discord, and the longer CitizenCon was going on, the more the morale was just plummeting. And no, seriously, it was, and I'm talking about guys that are super positive about the game all the time. Like I'm not gonna say what nights, but like really, really positive all the time. And even those guys were like, "What the hell is this?" So, and then you play 315, and you're like, and that's the first thing I want to address here, is that uh, it's kind of mind-boggling that they didn't talk more about the stuff coming to 315 during CitizenCon, because do you remember the time when they were I'm not sure which CitizenCon it was. I think the 2019 or 18, where they were talking about SSOCS coming in the next patch being a big thing.
That would be 19.
Yeah, 19. So like they would like, oh, it's such a big deal, like it's going to improve the like your experiences in the servers, etc., etc. So people were like really I mean, I don't know about you, but like a lot of people in my org were like super hyped about SSOCS because they were like building this up as this new tech that was, like the first step, but it's going to change everything. And then the patch comes out, and you're like, this is actually worse than before. So, and now you have iCache, which is what's coming in this patch, because you talked about how good the inventory looks and or not good it looks because it's third person, etc. But the first thing that struck me when I tried 3.15 is that I was in the train, and that was the point where I'm like, okay, I have some time, I'm going to put some armor on.
Yeah.
Before 3.15, 90% of the time, just opening the Mobiglass and even the stuff loading, and then I could never have the time. And even if I did have the time, like the helmet would take like, I
Yeah,
don't know,
putting a helmet
15
on was a chore, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Imagine.
And even if you did, you would have to wait like 15-20 seconds for the thing to actually appear on your head. Here it's like everything
Instant.
is almost instant, and
Yeah.
that's iCache. That's huge.
Yeah, I agree. It's been snappy. It's been
Yeah.
pretty.
And that's one of and iCache, is one of those peer tags that's required for server meshing. So that's a huge moral boost for people, because like we finally have like one of those peer tags that's required to move forward. They didn't talk about that at all during CitizenCon, like not a word. So
Yeah, it's weird, wasn't it? I kind of expected that as well, and even some 3.16 talk, but we didn't get any of that really.
no, maybe they were scared because they were scared of the same scenario as SSOCS, where they were overselling it and then it comes out and it's not working as they hoped.
Which,
Quite
guess
possibly.
what? If they did, I don't think we would be as happy with 3.15 as we are right now.
Maybe.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah,
they mentioned
possibly.
none of it. I mean, here's the thing: I have a Evo access. I could have played it, but I didn't, and I didn't for a whole slew of reasons. Actually, some of it was New World. The other parts were, honestly, I was at my data cap on my internet, and I didn't want to download a bunch of builds and have to pay all this money to test a game that I've already paid money to test a game for. So there were reasons behind it, but the fact that I had zero idea what I was getting into, other than what we had seen on ISC, which was always more polished or whatever. I mean, I think this is the best patch experience I've had because I feel like I'm exploring it, and I still am. Yeah, sorry,
True.
Europeans that don't have data caps. You have no idea what that is, but yes, they exist in the
No,
United States still, and they're horrendous.
I mean, I'm in Europe now, but 6 months ago I was in the US, and I know what it is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's a
But yeah.
1.25 terabyte data cap, but I did reach it this month for whatever reason. I usually don't.
By the way, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there's actually you were talking about exploring and discovering stuff.
Okay.
Did you guys discover the fact that there is persistence in outposts?
That you could store stuff in outposts, right?
Yep. Even
Yeah.
after 30Ks, they stay
That's
there.
cool. So we could have a house now. Or
Really?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You
to
can
live there.
There are people in my org that say, hey, I'm going to do FPS missions there. I'm going to put all of my stuff in that outpost that's like not too far from it. And it's like a mobile base not too far from when you're doing stuff.
Wow,
That's
Yeah.
cool. I didn't know that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
try it.
what? You got to put it in the crates, the spawn crates, and then it stays there.
Yeah. And even if there's a 30K, it stays there. Like it doesn't go away.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
What about SPK? Does it work with SPK as well?
I don't think so. We didn't try it. That's something to test actually.
Yeah.
But if there's a 30K, like, how the hell do you get into the same server that's going to have that stuff on it anyway?
That's the thing I don't understand is that even if you are in different on a different server, I mean I cannot explain it to you. I just like we were just surprised as you are. We're like, wow, the stuff's still there, and we had a 30K, so it's not the same server. So
Interesting.
how I don't know, but it's yeah, it's a thing. So
Well, that's cool. Gives you something to do with one of the outposts, I guess. Treat it like your own homestead.
Yeah,
yeah,
instead
I
of a
mean,
ship, you can live in an outpost.
if you
Yeah.
want,
Here you go.
if that's your thing, for sure. But it's good that
starting to become my thing now that you mentioned it. I didn't even think of that.
yeah, I mean, test it out. It's fun. It's fun to do, and yeah, I mean, as for the I mean the overall, I mean, I don't know. There's so much to talk about this patch. It's kind of difficult to know where to start. But yeah, I just enjoy the fact that we're going towards a direction. Not talking about iCache anymore and everything, but like we're going towards a direction where making decisions on what ship you take, what you put in your ship matters. I think is wonderful, and I can't wait for the next step that's supposed to be in 6 months, I think, where we have like all the closets and everything in our ships functional, and we
Yeah,
actually
that'll
have
be
to use
sick.
them. So no,
Oh, that's cool. That's thanks for making me aware of that, man. That's a huge thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna, cause like the whole fun for me from 3.15 is gonna be, like I said earlier, like supplying all my ships in the places around the verse so that I always have the stuff I need at hand to some degree. You know, treat them like like I live in them and use them, to retrieve certain items from my inventory. So having like outposts that potentially work in there as well.
no, I mean it could be
Role
interesting.
play a hermit that lives in one of the outposts and
Yeah,
greets
that was
people when they
Yeah,
turn up.
and it sticks with what they said with Homestead. Like they wanted to be like if a player wants to live there, he can live there. I do have one question though. Like, how many of you guys are still struggling to have the reflex to not press F1 for the inventory and use I? I'm
I still do
struggling.
that.
How about
Yeah.
every
Muscle
time I
memory.
press escape to get out of the inventory, the options menu comes up? That one too?
Yes, that one too.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
not
gonna
super
get some.
intuitive with that, but yeah.
I think it's just that we just used the old system, so
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna take some time. Last thing I want to talk about because there are other colors is that you mentioned the 400i, but uh, there's something to be said about the A2, and I'm not talking about the bombs. Like we did some testing with that.
Okay.
That thing is a monster. It's the highest DPS in the game right now, and that's even higher than Hammerhead because the Hammerhead, although it has more guns, the problem is that you cannot concentrate fire on one single target with all the guns, and that's not its role, so that's totally fine. But this one, what we quickly figured out is that all of the guns that you are under the belly, uh, we assume that that's just to shoot targets down on the ground, but actually that's not possible because the angle doesn't go all the way on the ground. However, all of the guns except for the one on the back, you can aim at the front. And I don't know if you looked at the loadout of this thing, but it's huge. So we
Why
did some
is
testing.
every ship that comes into the game the best dogfighter? Literally every ship,
Yeah.
every badge, no
The
matter
Pisces?
what kind of ship it is, it's the best dogfighter.
I mean, it's
never
a monster.
fails, dude. Every
It's a
time.
monster, dude. Like try to fight a hammerhead or anything with this, it just melts it in seconds.
What? Really? That quick? I don't
Yeah.
actually know what weapons are on the A2. I really haven't had that much interest in the A2 at all
Me
this
neither.
patch.
Five size, dude. 5 size weapons.
Size
So-
5s.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, 5 size 5s?
How many
I mean,
turrets are there? There's 2 on each turret.
I mean, look at the well, the ship metrics. I don't want to trust that, but yeah, it says that it has like basically, yeah, 3, 4. Yeah. I mean, you have like
6 size
1,
5
2.
weapons, Chad is saying.
Yeah,
Like, what?
basic. Yeah. So do the math, and you can
And they're in
aim all
turrets, so
of
you can't miss.
yeah, and you can all aim at one single target with all of that stuff. So yeah, that thing is a monster.
So nerf incoming. Cool.
Got
All right.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm
You gotta
looking
sell it.
now. So
Yeah. They sell it, they'll sell it, and then they'll nerf it. But
We'll
Belladrim,
see.
I got the text
Yeah.
from the wife, so I guess we'll say
Yeah.
final thoughts, and then we'll bring in Hey, it's Nick.
No. Final thoughts are looking forward to the future. I just hope that this is not like the last good patch we have for the next year and a half. It's good that we have this one, but I hope that after this one, like there's not going to be another drought for another year. That's all.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll see. But all right, Belladrim, thank you so much for stopping in, man. Always enjoy your calls.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
See ya.
Bye bye now.
cheers,
All
man.
right. And our final caller, Hey, it's Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's been interesting in the Wave 1 PTU.
Yeah. So, what do you want to share? What's the first thing that you jumped into?
The first thing I jumped into is what's up with the safeties being disabled on the med guns?
Because so there's definitely a reason for it, and I understand where they're coming from. It is kind of cancer. But there's definitely a reason for it. When you are, let's say, have the tier 1 injury, the worst injury, you're stuck crawling. You can't do anything. So people need to be able to administer the meds to mask that injury in order to allow you to get to a medical bed. So there is reason for it. Just the use that people are using for that being open is unfortunately just drugging everybody. So it's kind of ridiculous. I said, if you have armor on, maybe those injuries would, like, people can't drug you if you're wearing armor, something like that. So if you're actually injured and you're downed, a player can take your leg armor off and repair your leg. Because that's what a real EMT person would do. They would have to, like, I play ice hockey, right? The last injury I've seen, this guy completely broke his leg just skating. Like, his leg just went like this and broke. And the EMT guys had to come, but they had to cut everything off and to get to his leg. You know what I mean? So that is a real thing. So I just imagine, as a medical assistant or whatever, I'd pull the leg armor off and then I'd repair the leg. Flight suits, okay, but armor, no. I think that's a solution behind it, maybe, but who knows?
Because the one thing I find really interesting when you're actually walking through these stations, if you go up to NPCs and everything and you hold the med gun up to them, it'll be like, no, safety is on. You can't administer any drugs. So I just find it, I'm like, so I can't shoot the NPCs. The safety's on for that, but players, no. But I think it'd be interesting to see how they balance it out, to see if they're going to go by, like, maybe it might not administer to 100 or anything, but it's definitely something I feel like they're going to address really soon, because if that goes to live, the state it is in now, it's going to be
those
so
casual players Dtox
hilariously
was talking
bad.
about are not going to be hanging around very long.
Yeah.
I mean, a pile of bodies in one location.
Yeah, I was playing with a couple of guys the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, sorry guys, I've been trying to leave Grimhex for the last 30 minutes, but there's a group there drugging everybody and dragging them into their ships as soon as they wake up." So it's definitely happening, man. It's gonna be
I
problematic.
laugh, but I'm gonna cry when it happens to me. I laugh now.
Also, one thing that I don't think anyone's really mentioned or talked about is when you drag players, you can actually request a room and drag them to the bed and place them in the bed.
Wow. How do you know this?
That's because I did it.
Oh, I see.
I did it to an unsuspecting player. So I just like, let's just see if I can do this. And yeah, you'll actually pick them up and like place them into the medical bed. And it's pretty funny.
Thank you for being so meticulous with your testing, Nick. We appreciate that.
Yes, with the testing. Yep.
The testing. Hey, he was already passed out, drugged out. Okay, it wasn't all my fault. I just walked into him like, "What are you doing here?"
So
I swear.
I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure Nick lives at Grimhex and is part of this weird group of people that have been just drugging people. I've heard about this
Probably
group.
is.
I think Nick is the leader,
Nah,
possibly.
I was mostly just trying to get to Tressler from New Babbage, and it took me all day, and I still couldn't make it there through the 30Ks and being drugged.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Is there like what else have you actually done? Like did inventory stuff like that? How do you feel about the loot so far? How do you feel about the
I was playing
system?
with the Scorpion yesterday, and I gotta say we went looting, and I brought out a Vanguard Hoplite, and that thing is amazing to go looting with because of all the gun racks and everything.
True.
We went to SPK, SPK, and we just went in and just grabbed the guns we wanted, put them on the gun racks, went back in, and just kept clearing and looting and just loading up the ship for everything it had, and then just like took off. And it was just like you just come up with like a gun rack full of guns now, and like those gun racks now make perfect sense.
Yeah, it's a good feeling when you see that stocked up.
I will say, a 315 central thing that we didn't touch on, the Gladius gold standard. I put guns in the gun rack. I used the inventory on the Gladius. It was actually really cool to have a single-seater ship that it just has more functionality than any other one now in that light. It's a light fighter, so you could literally be a dogfighter, but you can loot things, and it has like a little it doesn't have cargo in the sense of cargo hauling, but it does almost everything else, and it was actually really cool to take that out and go looting in a Gladius, because you wouldn't think that would be a thing, right? But it was really neat.
That's really cool. Yeah.
The Saber has had that same pass too, so now the Saber has the gun racks and the inventory on it as well.
Oh, sick.
What's next?
Okay.
Do you guys know?
The Retaliator.
The next gold standard is Retaliator.
Yeah.
Is the
Retaliator.
modularity going to be a part of that too, you think?
They touched on it when they mentioned the gold standard, so it's possible. Yeah. At least the prep for it was part of their gold standard thing. But they were more like the things that they had more detail on were just a little bit of like the layout stuff not working, and the things that people had complained about for years about it, and they seem to be addressing them slightly at the very least. But after that, who knows? I think the whole series were also getting addressed when it came to that. So we'll see. But Nick, what else? Go ahead.
The 400i, I'm in complete agreement with you guys that like that bottom level, it's like a mess.
Thank you.
I just got it last night, and I've been walking through it just a little bit here and there, just trying to get a grasp of it. And it's like, the flow of like that main landing with the stairs.
Yeah,
it makes no sense that the stairs are right next to the lockers, so everyone who's like loading up at the lockers are standing on the stairs. So if someone hits the button while they're like getting suited up, they're just like going down.
Exactly. Oh no, can't access the lockers. I've got to close the door. The freaking ramp first to get your stuff. Yeah, I agree.
I feel like this is the perfect like Star Citizen problem. Is I feel like in so many cases the artists have like just freedom beyond belief to just do, and it's the look and feel is the most important thing, but the addressing the actual like player experience when it comes to a lot of the ships just doesn't matter enough right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think sorry, man.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like the MSR thing. It's the same with like only having one exit. Like nobody that would have never happened if we had 2 seconds with the ship. You know what I mean? We would have been like, hey, that's really important to us. You know, but the people that are looking at it and staring at it for days and days and days from an art perspective are never going to have that our perspective on it. Not that we should be there during the process necessarily, but
we are though. We're such an important part of that process, don't you think?
The 400i was skipped, but we were skipped by the 400i process. We had no input on the concept or anything.
Yeah, but that's still subject to change, and they are changing it as we're providing feedback.
Do you feel like we're maybe not at the right stage. I think we are a good part of the process. I really do. I do believe that, but we don't get to be a part of the concept phase. Obviously, we get to see that after. And I guess that's what I'm saying is the layout and everything has already pretty much been decided at that point. So the MSR could have been avoided if we saw the concept and had maybe like a walkthrough in Greybox or something.
Still think it could change though. Look at the 600i. Aren't they going to redo the whole layout with that thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Morphologist.
Yeah.
I hope they also
Morph's
follow
the lead on that
Morphologist's-
one. Maybe who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they'll go back to the colors black and follow Morph's suggestions with that, because his little 3D mock-up of what he did with that colors black was just, I would love to see that in game.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Hey, what about medical gameplay aside from the drugging? Besides of
medical
from the
gameplay
drugging?
for aside from the drugging, I did get into a down state and I did have to be revived, and I did use a medical beacon for it. It did work. Apparently, I couldn't see the guy at all.
Yeah.
And he couldn't see me. So you really have to go by the actual marker, because there is a bug currently in Wave 1 where they're invisible. So that makes it a bit difficult, but it does work. They get you up, and he had to come into a bunker with security. And because he was doing a medical beacon for me while I was doing a bunker that I died in, he had to take out security because he was
crime statted.
He was crime statted against the security just for coming to heal me, who was in the bunker, who was fine. So he just like killed them all and took the crime stat to heal me. So that's interesting to see how they'll tackle that or handle that, to see if they'll might give like permission. If you have permission and you need help, if they'll pass that permission off to the players who are coming to come help you afterwards. But it's an interesting little conundrum.
Sure. The other thing, you can, if you wanted to be on the more unsavory side for the medical beacons, you can actually spawn your own medical beacon without ever being downed. So you can kind of pretend to have a medical beacon.
Excellent.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I
Can't wait to steal your Carrick.
I wasn't downed, and I tried to spawn a personal transport one. It didn't work, and if it doesn't work and you cancel, it takes a while for it to refresh to be able to do another one. So I spawned a medical one, and some jerk in chat tried to, in Gen Chat in the game, who was being a jerk in Gen Chat before I even put it up, tried to take it and come loot me. But then I think he was watching the stream because he was coming to me, and like 30 seconds after I said, when he gets close, I'm going to cancel it so he can't see my marker anymore, and then I'm going to kill him because I had a grenade launcher, and I was going to loot him because I was just stuck. My ship was gone. I wasn't downed. But yeah, so you can spawn a fake one. So watch out there. Make sure that they're real. Expect an ambush sometimes. So,
Yep.
Definitely.
yeah. But Nick, I would say final thoughts now because I have 2 minutes before I'm supposed to be there. So
Final thoughts. It's 3.15's turning out to be a great patch. I can't wait for them to just iron some things out before Wave 1, especially with the 30Ks. There's a lot of them right now.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'd like to say thanks for everyone. Also, special. I'd like to just mention a Dtox. I am also a recruit in the UE Pathfinders. So,
sweet.
So I actually am with them, and I was watching.
Were you there in the?
I wasn't
fleet
there
battle with
as I was just a
Okay.
recruit. I'm just a Marine recruit in the UE Pathfinders, and just like to say I was watching that fight from there, and that was a good, well fought fight. So
Yeah, it was kick ass. It was super fun. Cool. Yeah, they're a good org. Good guys.
all right, that's all.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. And yeah, thanks, Dtox. Thanks, Seggellion. Appreciate it. And
Thanks,
I don't
Mike.
know.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's been a long time.
It has. It's been too
Yeah.
long. It's always too long. Every time we come on and do stuff together, it's always been too long. We got to try as much as we can. You and I, our lives are so busy now. It's crazy. So much has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. In general, I'm super excited about 3.15. You two also do sound very excited. And Seggellion, we're definitely gonna link back up for 3.16 if that cargo stuff makes it in. I'm super excited for that stuff. I can't wait to get back into that. I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Set
Thanks for
Jelly.
having me on
Everyone's
too,
telling me how to
SaltEMike.
say your name.
Doesn't matter.
Seggellion.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun listening to people pronounce it. Just because everyone does it differently, it makes me wonder like what it is that determines how people pronounce it. It's fascinating
The
at this point
G's.
because I also sell pizza, right? And I use that name for the pizza selling.
Yeah.
And like I hear IRL people say the name, and it's like, everyone says it differently. It's fun. But hey, man, thanks so much for having me on the
Yeah.
show. Like I've always watched it, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm finally an Answer the Call. Like what a cool thing! It's amazing. So thank you so much.
Nah, I've wanted to have you guys on. Like, I've wanted to have Dtox on again for a while, and I've wanted to have you on for forever. It just comes down to, I feel like the show should be just open, so never feel that as a streamer or a YouTuber or whoever, never feel that you can't just come on, turn on your camera, and have it be like this, but just for 15 minutes or something like that. Like if you're listening and you feel passionate about whatever we're talking about, come on and talk. It's I do like highlighting other creators occasionally, but I feel like the uniqueness of the show and what makes it special is it's for everybody, but that doesn't mean that it's not for a streamer either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of why I sort of stay out. I just like to, if you invite me on, for sure. But yeah, it's for the community, right? It's the greater community outside of the us, the narcissistic side, the streamers,
But
the content creators.
But the thing is,
so I tend to just sort of let you guys. Yeah, I stay out of it, but
yeah. But the thing
I'll
is
jump on.
that is exactly what happens. Is the non-narcissistic people, which I think are actually the most narcissistic people, are sometimes the people that are making those type of comments to make you feel that way. And the thing is you are as much a part of the Star Citizen community as anybody else, but you're not any more than some random dude that just bought and has an Aurora, right? We're all, as far as I look at it, is we're all equals. And I think like if you just have something you're passionate about and want to say, like feel free. And specifically, like if you ever have something you really want to dive into, shoot me a message and we could do a topic just about that. But just occasionally, when I feel it's like this is the guy that can really share some insight on a specific topic, I try to reach out to those people if I'm comfortable with them. Like I mentioned Ravier, I just don't know him, so I didn't know how to reach out, and wasn't like if I feel that way too, like I feel weird like reaching out to somebody who I don't know and being like, hey, want to come on my podcast so I can use your information on this subject to learn more. It almost feels like, I don't know, kind of scummy on my end in a way. So that's why I don't reach out to people about that stuff, is it feels weird on my side. So
that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
They got to have something to promote. That. It's like a talk show. Maybe they got a new
book
you guys
got a
out,
book. You guys got a book coming out. Anybody got a book you guys want to share? No, but yeah. So, but we'll do the book thing. We'll do the book thing. Dtox. If they didn't catch it at the beginning, where can people find you? You got anything exciting coming up? Any books?
Yeah, but it's not really SC related.
So, that's okay. It doesn't matter.
It's October, right? I'm doing my horror stream at some point this month.
Nice.
Next week's schedule, I'm not 100% sure. Probably a little bit of SC, but I kind of want to. I don't want to get too hard on the PTU because I don't want to be burnt out for live. So
yeah.
Might be mixing it up a little bit next week. But yeah, just you can find me on Dtox_TV, Twitch, same thing for YouTube. My YouTube content is pretty sporadic. I don't really have a schedule. I put up content
it's so good.
When I can do it. And thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's the problem. It takes way too long to make one video a lot of the time. So I got to work on that. I've got to work on doing much quicker videos, less time consuming ones. But yeah, that's it. That's where you can find me. 3 nights a week. I dropped my schedule down from 5 at the beginning of this year because of RL commitments and things. Hoping to work it back up to 5 at some point in the future. But for me at the moment, 3 nights a week works out better. Leaves me more time to work on other stuff and spend time with the family as well. So
yeah,
that's it.
All right, awesome. And what about you, Seggellion?
Thank you.
So I stream on Twitch Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Did you know I do pizza? You know I do pizza.
I don't.
Right,
I know
SaltEMike?
now. I knew as of today when I checked out the YouTube channel and saw the pizza video, and I was like, okay.
yeah, man, I'm pretty serious about this pizza business.
That's awesome.
And it's funny.
It looks
It's
awesome. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
It looks great.
it's so and listen, Dtox, you're a part of this too because when Daymar Rally was the last time I saw you, and it was like the day after Daymar Rally is when I launched the website. You know, got all the payment systems running, where it was actually a business. And you were like,
Cool.
you were talking about the mispronunciation of my name. You're like, why didn't you just add another G to it? And that's what I did. Changed everything over as soon as you said that, and basically started the
Really?
pizza business after that. Yeah. So and
Amazing.
like I teamed up with a guy here in the city who owns a pizzeria, so I'm kind of using his oven. So I started doing Uber Eats delivery last week. So that's a thing now, and that's pretty
That's
fun.
amazing.
Yeah,
How's
it
it
kind of
going?
all started from how's it going?
Yeah.
You know, Uber Eats puts a $10 charge on, so that
Yeah.
kind of sucks. But they do a lot of marketing because people are going to my website now through Uber Eats, so it's fine, and it's you get cheaper pizza if you go through my website that way. So
There you go.
very interesting.
Cool,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, the pizza
Entrepreneur.
business. Yeah. Oh, that's my jam. Sadly. But the
I know.
pizza
That's
business
why you
is
made
a
Ultima Energy.
kind of well, and also they describe Star Citizen as an entrepreneur's game, so I feel very comfortable here. Yeah. Carbon Tales is a big part of the pizza business. It kind of started out within their stream last year through the pandemic. That's when I became obsessed with making pizza, and they just threw gasoline on the fire of my obsession with making pizza. But like I said, I am a Twitch streamer. I'm going to be celebrating my 4th year anniversary streaming Star Citizen next week. So that'll be cool. Hope you guys stop by. I typically just do cargo running, listen to classical music, enjoy the sunsets,
Yes, to
and that
classical
type of
music.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
That's me.
Yeah. I
High class.
occasionally hang out and lurk in there too, and it
That's
is
cool.
very
Thank you.
calm. Of course, yeah.
Thanks again for having me on here as well. Really appreciate
Anytime,
it.
anytime. Seriously, guys, thank you so much. It was really fun. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your insight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys enjoy 315 when it's in a little bit better of a state to enjoy, and we'll see what happens. We'll see where 315 takes us and leads us into 316. But guys, again, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll let you go. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Have
Bye,
a good day.
guys. You too. So that will do it, everybody. Thank you for watching Answer the Call. If you're watching on Twitch and you didn't catch the whole episode, it will be up on YouTube later today. And if you're watching on YouTube, you want to stop by and watch it live. It's usually around 9-10 a.m. Sunday mornings, Eastern time, Eastern U.S. time. If you're somewhere out there, it probably will be standard time pretty soon. And yeah, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, all that good YouTube stuff. And yeah, I appreciate it. Also, if you are all the way to the end of this video, I started a new YouTube channel called SaltEMike 2, TWO, where I put like my react stuff, like, oh, I reacted to this morphologist video or Meyer video, or I'm gonna throw up some of the Dtox videos on there because we're gonna watch them pretty soon. I've actually been saving them for that. So make sure you go subscribe to that channel. I'll put a link in the description there. I'll probably do some sort of an announcement video on my YouTube channel as well. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you later. And yeah, I'm going to go eat hamburgers. So have a good one, everybody.